So today's video I'm super excited for because we're throwing another essential upgrade into our long range or mini sniper build for the AAP-01. And this is a sponsored video. If you don't know, I am affiliated with Skirm Shop and Stalker Airsoft. So if for some reason you want to pick up these parts and follow me along, I do have a link in the description that you can follow, paired with the code STUPIDAIRSOFT for 5% off any orders from Skirm Shop's website. I am a big fan of them. They're great people, and they're also Airsoft fans themselves, so, you know, they care about the hobby. And Stalker makes some phenomenal products. I've used some of these products before in the past in my SRS and my TAC-41. Huge fan. Today we're installing the AAP-01 Kraken Hop Up, and to give us some more long range and accuracy, we're installing the 310mm Morpheus inner barrel. This was recommended by Jeff from Jeff's Airsoft because of the length of the kit, or the AAP-01 kit that we installed last time. So ideally this should go just a little bit outside of the barrel, but it should fit really well inside of the suppressor when we get it on the front, which is ideal. We want the most barrel that we can get out of it and keep it hidden and safe, obviously. So first I'm going to pop all these parts out. We'll see what's on the inside. We'll install them both together. Now I'm a little nervous about this install, primarily because I believe we're going to have to do some drilling in order to get this installed. Jeez. The machining on these is always super nice, and I believe this just pops apart. Yeah, it does. Wow, the tolerances are crazy on that. You hear that? There's no wiggle in that at all. Machine work on all of these Stalker parts are always pristine. Always pristine. Cool. And we've got a bag with a bunch of smaller parts. Now, the other thing, like I said, we're going to have to do some drilling, and a lot of the reason I believe we're going to have to do some drilling is because it's a TDC hop-up. Now, if you run the regular standard hop-up from Stalker for the AAP-01, it does come with this like hop arm that you can run, and you can adjust it from the outside, but we're not going to be able to because it's not going to be long enough because we have this kit on it, so we're going to have to obviously modify it a little bit. But we have the Stalker logo on there, which looks sick. We won't be using that. I believe we've got a bunch of parts here that we're going to have to install. This is the part that would go on the outside of your AAP, which again we're not going to need, obviously. This would sink in here just because we're just going to have to use an Allen key. A bunch of parts. Beautiful part about these Stalker hop units is they also come with a Stalker hop rubber and then a hop nub. And of course in the corner we've got a bunch of our grub screws and whatnot too. Let's get into the inner barrel we're going to be using as well. Pop this guy open from the top. Cool. And now you don't have to use a Morpheus inner barrel if you have an inner barrel that you like. You can test out some other ones. I just know that the Morpheus inner barrels are designed really well, and they fit great inside the Stalker hop-up units, and the barrels work. So, you know, why not use them? Okay, so first things first, obviously, we'll just make it really simple. We will get our hop rubber installed onto the barrel and just find the little nub that's on the top. And we're going to make sure that's lined up with the opening, because that's what we're going to need to compress in order to engage our hop. And then there should be a line on the bottom of the hop rubber. That line is going to go in this groove. So that, like the spine, per se. Cool. We'll go like this. Just be careful not to tear the rubber or bother it. You don't want to cause any problems. And it shouldn't do any like wiggling around or anything like that. And you should notice, you could see on the inside there, that notch or that like nub is now in that opening. So we've installed that correctly. Cool. Now I believe we have to take this piece apart, and then the opening of the inner barrel now, which is there. You see that little opening that we lined the hop nub with? We're going to line that up with this big open square. So we'll slide that in like this. Be careful when you slide it in. You don't want to tear the hop rubber, and you don't want to misalign it from the barrel. We are going to go ahead and push that all the way down. Just like that, as far as it'll go. Perfect, and just make sure, obviously, it's not bunched up. I like the fact that these guys have the wings on both sides, so that it really lines up inside the hop unit as much as possible, and it's as stable as it can be. Next, we're going to take that nub. We'll put the nub up on the little square that it's going to go placed in, and the arc of the nub should be facing downwards, almost if it's wrapping around the barrel, and that'll just sit in place right there, and that's going to apply our hop when the time comes. Now, from my understanding, we have to drill through the kit and the AAP-01 in order to have access to the TTI Hop Up. So just got to figure out how to get this apart. I haven't taken the Jefe's Airsoft kit off yet, or like split the lower and the upper. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to do it. So it just came off fine. The only thing is, again, like it's got these ribs that lock in down here, so you kind of have to force it past the plastic. I assume after a couple times of doing that, it won't be as difficult, but yeah. Now we have to get into the upper as well. We have to get this hop unit out, but keep it in place. So we're going to take the stock or the rear off also. So we'll grab our kit. It's going to be a little bit longer of an install, I'd imagine. We'll get to these screws. Now what we're going to do, I believe, is take the entire inside apart, and then now we should be able to just pull the rear off. Now before we slide the back out, we got to take the barrel extension off. And then this guy should just slide out of the rear. Cool. Okay, we're gonna need that in a second. We just have to kind of disassemble the AAP a little bit here. So we're gonna get the bolt out for sure. Trying to remember, we put our AAP parts over there. Pop the sight off, take the bolt out, and then we have to remove this guy as well. Okay, so now that we've got the hop up uninstalled, we're going to try and figure out where we're going to need to drill the hole for the new TTI style hop up. We got to pull these two screws out too. And then I think we're going to reverse install it, or not reverse install it, but we're going to put the new hop up housing in just to line up where our drill's going to have to go through. All right, so now we should be able to just kind of like reinstall it, if that makes sense. So I just want to put these two pieces together the way they're supposed to slide on in. And obviously this is the upper side of the hop unit, so it's going to install like this. And it looks like, let's see, it looks like these screw holes are for the outer barrel to connect. So what I'm going to do is slide those screws we just took out into the side to hold it in place. Put one in, and then flip it over and put the other in. Now if I remove the barrel and the insert, of course they're stuck in there. Guess we have to unscrew those a little bit. Are they pressing on the barrel? Yeah, okay. So unscrew those a little bit. Let's pull this guy back out. tighten these nice and snug. And then we'll install it back into here so we can see where it has to line up to. And then we'll, I think, put it back inside the kit and then start drilling. Should be the best idea. So that's screwed on in there. Just worried, I don't want to mess up the threads or anything. We don't need a large hole either, because we're just going to be installing the little grub screw for the hop unit. I think that's this, because we don't need to do this whole assembly like I said before with the dial and whatnot. I don't know if we need to have this installed. We probably do. I think we have to have this piece installed into the AAP-01 in order to run the grub screw through it. I think. Yeah. Because that's going to go into there. Yeah, we're going to need this piece installed. So we're going to have to drill a hole large enough inside of the AAP-01's top for this bit. But we're going to need a small hole in the top of the body kit. So what we're going to do is grab a drill bit that can fit through here and just drill it dead center. Let's see, drill bit wise, what size will fit best. So we need one that's going to be sizable to this piece. And that looks like it's going to be just too small. That looks like it may offer enough space, I hope. Or maybe this one. Yeah, maybe this guy. Because that screws in, so it shouldn't need to be like super duper stable. I don't think. What we'll do is go smaller first, and then we'll work our way up if we have to. So I'm going to install, sorry, we're kind of all over the place here. I'm going to reinstall this piece into the kit so we can get an idea of where it needs to sit inside the kit as well. The other problem is we're going to have to go through the aluminum too, which is a little nerve-wracking. And let's actually get a smaller drill bit. We'll drill a pilot hole first. Just something sort of thin. All right. So we're just going to go down into that hole there, straight into the AAP, and then straight through into the kit. We'll get our drill bit on. Ah, crap. I always hate this part, if I'm being totally honest. Okay. I guess here we go. Okay, we're through the body of the AAP. Are we not long enough? No, of course not. Okay. So maybe we'll take this apart again. Let's just pull this out now. Okay, and you could see the hole from the AAP and then the hole into the body kit. We're going to first pilot hole all the way through the body kit. The aluminum is going to be the hardest part. But we did make it through. It's kind of ugly, but it's fine. And then we have to make the hole from the AAP a little bit larger. But now that we have that hole, like the pilot hole, we can take this all apart so we don't ruin it. Definitely one of the harder Stalker parts to install. take some modification. Let's make the SRS feel like a breeze. Let's pull this guy out. And then let's make that hole a little larger. So I think we said we were going to go with this one first, just to see if it fits. Nice and slow. And hopefully this piece fits through here. What we wound up with was a, let's see, 1/4 inch. So that's cool. And it seems to fit nice and snug in there. Now, I don't believe we have to make this hole all that large, but I will go a little bit larger, just so that we can get an Allen key in there nice and comfortably, but that it doesn't totally kill the look of the upper. I mean, we're going to paint it anyway, so if there's any like silver showing, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Cool. And we've cleared out enough space for an Allen key to get its way through there, so that's perfect. We'll pull this piece back on out. And now we should be able to back these pieces out and then fully install the hop unit and then put it all back together. Don't drop these screws. We're outside. Let's pull these 2 side screws back out. So this isn't like a perfect tutorial. This is more me kind of trying to figure out how to do all this. Make sure our barrel is set in place. Let's reinstall the parts as they should be. So you should see the purple straight through the top right there. What we're going to do, back it out. We'll put the little hop nut back in. Obviously the same direction that we said with that like curve wrapping around the BB into that spot. That's if I can get it to drop in place. And then we'll press it back closed. Now that we have this all set up and together, I think we take these 2 grub screws now, and they're a slightly larger Allen key, and we drop these into the side to hold the barrel in place. Right? Yeah, we drop those into the side like this. It's a fly on my hand. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way just yet. I just want to tighten it until it stops, and then we'll come back through and evenly tighten them down. But we don't want to over tighten it because you could squeeze the barrel. Airsoft barrels are not meant to be strong per se, specifically because they're encased and protected by something. And that should hold it all together for now. I think, do we need another grub screw? So it should sit like that. That screw, maybe a grub screw down here. Yeah, it looks like one of these little guys goes in the base down there. I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't fit. If it does, cool. If not, then I guess it doesn't go down there. No, it totally does. So that little black grub screw in the base there to keep both the top and bottom together. Yeah. Now these spaces we leave open because usually you use that for a different screw. We're going to now put those 2 side screws in to hold the barrel in place and lock the hop unit into the outer barrel of the AAP. Righty in and then lefty. Perfect. And then I think if we just install this back together now, you can get this piece through the top, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to put the screws to connect the outer barrel and the upper of the AAP into the lower. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly. I always feel like someone's screaming at me in the comments. But if you are, I'll see it. This is weird because it's not the same install, because I'm not just installing it onto the AAP, I'm installing it onto the Jefe upper, the Jefe Carbine. Now, I think we install this piece first, would be our best bet. So we'll go ahead and kind of just drop that into place in the top. And then we should be able to get a large Allen key and screw that on down. That is not large enough. Use this. Still not large enough. Go one size up. That's the move. And it should just screw into place. Why is it not screwing into place? That's weird. Very weird. Let's back these out. Don't want to force it because there's not a lot of threads on that piece. But I want to be able to move it around a little bit. Maybe that'll do it. Okay, now we're screwing into place. Okay. I hope that still sits flush in the Jefe kit. Let's get these screws back in. Again, that screw is very shallow for this piece, so make sure you don't over tighten it at all. I feel like it'd be easy to strip. Okay, that's not going in smooth now either. What's that all about? Don't drop that. Are we off center a little bit? Can we get the front screw in? Maybe that'll help. There's a lot of parts here that need to align. Yeah, that goes in nice and smooth. I think we just weren't pushed in all the way. Now hopefully this one goes in easily. No, it's not. It's going in kind of ridiculous. The heck? What the heck? It's lined up. It's pretty dang lined up. Not sure what the problem is. It's always fun. Let's back this out again. Kind of mess with the top piece. See if unscrewing that helps. Just a little bit. And then we'll throw this piece in, or at least get it lined up and started, and then we'll go back to the top. See if that helps. Okay, still a little tight. Oh, that we don't like. Don't strip it, shithead. Okay, now let's screw this top piece down. Seems to be in place now. Think we are rock solid. I think we're rock solid. Now let's just make sure if we get this piece in to the Jefe's kit, we line up correctly. Hopefully we didn't mess anything up. All right. So that inner barrel is now getting stuck here. Come on. Maybe we'll just pop the front sight off, because that's probably what's pushing us. Yeah, I think that's what's pushing it. So we're going to have to try and pop the front sight off. Front sight. Hopefully that'll do it. And it doesn't leave it in an uneven position. I'd say that's probably my bigger fear. It'd be harder to align it. All right. So we are in. There's a little piece of metal, so I can't really see it. Clean it out of the Jeff's kit. Okay. Hopefully we line up now. Does look like we line up on the inside there. So we should be able to get a little grub screw into the top there. So let's pull this back out. There's a lot of ins and outs here. Let's get our little grub screw installed. I don't think we can use the dial. I think it's going to wind up in a weird spot. Maybe we can use the dial. Why don't we try? Let's make sure we clear out this hole we drilled, so there's no like metal shards or shrapnel in there, because we don't want that getting stuck in our threads. And then let's see if we can get that screw up in place. Maybe we can. No, we're gonna have to use the grub screw. That's fine. That's kind of what I planned on in the first place. So take that little tiny grub screw and we'll drop that into the center of here. And that should be how we activate our hop up now. We'll put the kit back together after we install the rear. Throw the sight block on. Toss these screws back in. Really hope I did this correctly. I'll drop this guy back in. So I think with a shorter barrel, you wouldn't have to remove the front sight, but since my barrel is much longer, I have to. Like I said, I hope that doesn't ruin the stability of it. I don't think it will. It's pretty locked up in there to begin with. Yeah, you can see the grub screw right through the center, so we can always access that. We're gonna need an Allen key, like a longer Allen key to get in there. See if does that lock in? No, that's too large. We're gonna have to get a thinner Allen key. We won't be able to use like a regular screwdriver to get in there. That's not really a big deal. We'll toss this rear back on top. And drop the screws in. Like I said, I'm gonna come back through and I'll Loctite blue everything after we're done with all these upgrades, but there's gonna be a ton of things that I'm gonna continuously be uninstalling and reinstalling over the next few weeks. And then we'll throw this screw back in. Cool. The barrel to cover it. And you see it kind of pops out a little bit, but it's not going to be a big deal because I have a long suppressor coming. So when we take off the flash hider later on, that suppressor should cover a good portion of that barrel. And we'll drop the lower back in. So no matter what I do, that aluminum shrapnel keeps popping back up, so I'm going to have to take the rail off and remove that afterwards. But you can access the grub screw from the top, which is perfect. The hop unit is now installed in there. It's an interesting install because, again, like I said, it's not really designed for the carbine kit. It takes a little extra modification, but it's fine because they do include that grub screw, but you don't get that awesome dial. So it'd be cool if obviously you could, but nothing I can do about that. For now, it's the install of the Kraken Hop Up. Again, if you want one, pick it up. Use my code in the description below. It'll save you a little bit. And I will, I guess, see you in the next one. Thanks, Skirm Shop.